Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Lately, there's been so much buzz online about the new 7 wonders of the world. You know, those breathtaking natural and man-made marvels that leave us in awe. But it got me thinking, what about the wonders of the technological world? The inventions and breakthroughs that have completely transformed the way we live, work, and connect with one another. I did some digging around for inspiration, and honestly, I was shocked. There's no solid, well-thought-out list out there. One list I stumbled upon even included the Microsoft Surface as a wonder. Seriously? That's a stretch. I'm guessing whoever wrote that might have had some bias. Maybe a paycheck from a certain tech giant? So, I decided to take matters into my own hands and create my own definitive list of the top 7 wonders of the technological world. These are the game changers, the innovations that deserve a spotlight. Let's dive in, starting with number 7, starting with AI. Kicking off our list at number 7 is the iPod. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Really? The iPod? That old thing? Hear me out. This one's bound to spark some debate, but its inclusion is totally justified. The iPod wasn't just a gadget, it was a cultural earthquake. Before it came along, music was mostly tied to CDs, Walkmans, or clunky MP3 players with tiny storage. Then, on October 23, 2001, Apple dropped the iPod, and everything changed. Steve Jobs himself unveiled it, calling it a Mac-compatible device with a 5-gigabyte hard drive that could fit 1,000 songs in your pocket. Can you imagine how mind-blowing that was back then? The iPod wasn't the first portable music player, but it was the one that made the biggest splash. It didn't just change how we listen to music, it reshaped how we buy it, with iTunes shaking up the music industry and breaking the iron grip of record labels. Plus, it sparked a whole ecosystem of accessories, cases, docks, speakers, you name it. The masterminds behind it? A dream team led by John Rubinstein, Apple's hardware engineering chief, with Tony Fadell, Michael Dewey, and Jonathan Ive designing it, and Stan Ung handling marketing. They whipped it together in under a year. Love it or hate it, the iPod paved the way for the smartphone era, and for that, we owe Apple a massive shout-out. Next up, at number 6, is the International Space Station, or ISS. Picture this. Just 60 years ago, the world was locked in World War II, one of the deadliest conflicts in history. Not long after, we plunged into the Cold War, with the US and Soviet Union glaring at each other across the globe. Who could have predicted that, before the 20th century ended, these bitter rivals would team up to build a space station? Today, the ISS is a collaborative masterpiece involving the United States, Russia, Japan, Canada, and a bunch of European countries. It's a floating laboratory orbiting Earth, proving that humanity can put aside differences for the sake of science and exploration. The ISS story started in the 1980s with NASA's Space Station Freedom, a US-only project that never got off the ground, literally. After the Cold War ended, the space race cooled off, and in the early 90s, talks began with international partners. In 1993, the ISS was officially born. The first piece, a Russian module called Zarya, blasted into orbit on November 20th, 1998, aboard a Proton rocket. Since then, it's been a hub for groundbreaking research. Everything from how plants grow in space to how our bodies adapt to zero gravity. It's a wonder not just for its tech, but for what it represents: peace and cooperation among nations. At number 5, we've got Linux, and this one's a personal favorite. Why? Because it's the poster child for the open source movement, a revolution that proved you don't need a massive corporation to create something incredible. Linux is an operating system built by a global community of coders who've never even met in person. That alone is mind-boggling. It all started with a guy named Linus Torvalds back in 1991. While studying at the University of Helsinki, he set out to create a free alternative to Minix, a Unix-like system. He teamed up with the GNU project, which offered free code, and switched to the GNU GPL license, making Linux open to everyone. What's amazing about Linux is how it's grown from a student's side project into a powerhouse that rivals Microsoft Windows and Mac OS. It powers everything from servers to supercomputers. Even your Android phone runs on a Linux kernel. It's a testament to collaboration, ingenuity, and the idea that great tech doesn't have to come with a hefty price tag. Linux cracked open the door to open-source software, inspiring countless projects and showing the world that a community can take on the industry giants and win. Coming in at number 4 is the Hubble Space Telescope, one of the most iconic tools in astronomy. Launched on April 24, 1990, aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery, Hubble has spent over 3 decades peering into the cosmos, capturing images that leave us speechless. Before Hubble, we could only dream about what lay beyond our skies. Now kids and adults can see the universe up close, from swirling galaxies to distant nebulae. It's not just about pretty pictures, though. Hubble has unlocked secrets about how our universe began, how stars are born, and even how time itself works. The idea for Hubble dates back to 1946, when astronomer Lyman Spitzer wrote about the benefits of a telescope beyond Earth's atmosphere. He spent years advocating for it, and by 1965, he was leading a committee to make it happen. After decades of planning, Hubble finally reached orbit, and despite a shaky start with a flawed mirror, fixed in '93, it's been a game-changer ever since. Take the Hubble Ultra Deep Field, for example, a snapshot looking back over 13 billion years, showing galaxies from the dawn of time. It's a technological marvel that fills you with awe and reminds us how far we've come in exploring the unknown. At number 3, we've got lasers. And no, I'm not talking about sci-fi blasters. When lasers were invented in 1960, people called them a solution looking for a problem. Fast forward to today, and they're everywhere. From scanning barcodes at the grocery store to cutting-edge surgeries that restore eyesight, lasers are woven into the fabric of modern life. They're in your Blu-ray player, your internet cables, even military tech. It's hard to find a corner of society that hasn't been touched by this incredible invention. The first laser came to life thanks to Theodore H. Maiman at Hughes Research Labs in California. On May 16, 1960, he used a ruby crystal to create a beam of red light at 694 nanometers. Later that year, Ali Javan, William Bennett, and Donald Harriot built the first gas laser with helium and neon. Building on ideas from Albert Einstein decades earlier, lasers went from a quirky experiment to a cornerstone of innovation. They've revolutionized medicine, communication, and so much more, proving that sometimes the wildest ideas turn out to be the most essential. Number 2 is a no-brainer, the computer. If there's one invention that defines our age, it's this. We've left the industrial era behind and stepped fully into the computer age, a world where these machines are everywhere. They're in hospitals saving lives, in labs unlocking scientific mysteries, in detective work solving crimes, and in our homes keeping us entertained. The computer has rewired how we live so completely that it's tough to picture a day without one. The story starts way back in 1837 with Charles Babbage. a British inventor who dreamed up the analytical engine, a mechanical computer that could be programmed. Sadly, he never built it, thanks to funding issues and his habit of tweaking the design endlessly. Fast forward to 1890, when Herman Hollerith's tabulating machines processed the U.S. Census using punched cards, laying the groundwork for modern computing. By the 20th century, computers evolved from room-sized beasts to the sleek devices we carry in our pockets. It's a wonder that's reshaped humanity, and there's no debate about its spot on this list. And finally, at number 1, the crown jewel, the Internet. Yes, computers made it possible, but the Internet takes it to a whole new level. Think of it as the modern Library of Alexandria, a vast, endless storehouse of human knowledge, accessible not just to the elite, but to anyone with a connection. It's how we shop, learn, laugh, and stay in touch. It's launched careers for artists and creators who'd never get a shot otherwise. For many of us, it's the backbone of daily life, and that's why it's the greatest technological wonder of all. The Internet's roots go back to 1958, when the Soviet Union's Sputnik launch spurred the U.S. to form ARPA, Advanced Research Projects Agency. On October 29, 1969, the first connection of what became ARPANET went live at UCLA. By 1983, TCP/IP turned it into a wide-area network, and the National Science Foundation's NSF-Net opened it up further. Commercial access hit in 1985, and soon, networks like Usenet and CompuServe joined the party. Today, it's a global web linking billions. The Internet isn't just tech, it's a revolution, and it's number 1 for a reason. So, there you have it. The top 7 wonders of the technological world. From the iPod to the Internet, these innovations have shaped our lives in ways we couldn't have imagined. Which one's your favorite? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe for more tech adventures. See you in the next video. Stay curious.